Okay, we're here at the water meter at the front of the house. Right there, this is the dial. Inside of the dial, there's a smaller dial right there, that little star. That's called a cheater wheel or a cheater paddle. It's very sensitive. If that's moving, you have water coming into the house. If you can't find a leak, then it's someplace that you can't see. But that's one of the ways that you tell whether you have a water leak in your house. Over here, across the parkway sidewalk, is the lawn sprinkler system. I open this irrigation box up. That's a valve. Okay. This is your check valves and your isolation valves for the handles, and you got the covers on them. I can't tell whether this box has been excavated. Well, it has been excavated, but I can't tell whether it's been covered with a layer of gravel to keep erosion from coming in. That's good practice for this box. It's also a good practice for the meter box. It's not required on the meter box, required on this one. Another thing that's required on this box, oh, you have it. This is the main shutoff valve right here for the lawn sprinkler system. These two valves are service isolation valves. So this box has everything it's supposed to have, assuming that there's gravel underneath it. Okay, so we're gonna zigzag up here for a moment. House faces north. This is a smaller garage door. This is the lawn sprinkler system. Stations are labeled. It does have instructions. Okay, I'll run it here in a little bit. This is the UFR. Okay, this is the main ground for the house. Main ground is labeled inside of the panel like it should be. Neutral is labeled inside the panel like it should be. You have the plastic protection booties for L1 and L2 like you should. This basically is a textbook installation. I'm testing all of these AFCI, GFCI combo breakers. Make sure that they work. And so far, we have flawless operation in the mechanical test. With AFCI, that's about the best you get. GFCI, there's some other tests. I will use an AFCI tester, two actually, but I'm not going to get any response with the newer versions. It's really just an exercise. The pink NM cable coming in, okay, that's from Canada, so it looks kind of strange if you used to see another cable. We used to have cable that came from China. But now we're getting a lot of copper from Canada. So what's wrong with this box? Something's got to be wrong with it, right? Okay, there shouldn't be more than a 1/4 inch gap between the cabinet and the wall. That's the fire rating. And this cabinet was screwed into place. It should have been nailed into place. Nails have a lot more shear strength. Ever try to take apart a treehouse? Okay. So those nails just won't give it up. Screws get in, they get tighter, they're faster to work with. I get that, but they don't have the tensile strength that nails do. They can't withstand the shear force, and they're more prone to pop during an earthquake or a tornado. And we do have an earthquake here every once in a while. We haven't had a big one, but I mean they happen. But we do have tornadoes are not infrequent. So because this box was screwed in rather than nailed in, it's not going to stay in place under such a severe test as that. The idea is not to have a tornado if you can, okay? So we're in the garage. Again, this is the north wall. So that would make the west wall. This is the main water shutoff valve right here. All right, if you got a problem in your house, you come through this door, you open up this, you probably go through this in orientation. And perpendicular is off. And then you can't put the cover back on. Parallel is on, and then you can put the cover back on. Okay, garage door opener doors, you're supposed to have a warning notice here, which you do. But these buttons, control buttons, are not supposed to be closer to the floor or the door threshold than 5 feet to keep children from messing with them. So these door buttons are actually too close to the door. And we're going to operate these things. And come over here. You'll notice that this door has an emergency pull handle. That door does not. Warning stickers, fine. The main door locks on both doors have been decommissioned, okay? The screws have been put in them. That's on purpose to keep them from being locked and then someone trying to push the button and causing damage to your door. Then on the inside of this door right here, these are warning tension, pinch warnings. You're supposed to have one at the bottom of each wheel on each side of the door. So this door is missing those notices, and this door is missing that handle. Now, these control wires, they're supposed to be secured to the wall with insulated staples. I know it's de minimis, I know there's not very much wire, I know there's not a lot to that. But it's not right either. That's what I'm here for. Now this is just an FYI, but these doors do not have battery backups. So if you lose power to these doors, just test that GFCI. Now the doors won't work. The lights aren't on the buttons. That's a dead giveaway right there. So the doors will not work in an emergency situation. Another reason to have the pull handles. You're supposed to have a pull handle inside and outside of each door. Okay? They're ugly. I don't have them. I get that. But that's what it is. You're not supposed to. So I'll push these buttons again. I've already done this. I made a quick skirt around the house. So I knew that was going to work. Alright. Don't try that at home. Oh, didn't work anyway. Over here, rain gutters are below grade. That's a good thing. Alright. Here in the front flower bed, these are your clean outs. Your main sewer clean outs to the house. Alright. You got a metal standing ridge roof over the front entry. The rest of the roof is composition shingles. Okay, we're coming across here. I'm going to drop you. Maybe not. See if I can do this. See that thumb? I'll set you down. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let me get the seatbelt back on. Alright, these are called checks. In the wood, that's natural. Alright, that's an aesthetic. That's what cedar does. Okay? You don't lose any strength, any pressure, strength, anything. Uplifting, it does not have any effect on the structure. Doorbell buttons are supposed to be illuminated, and this one is. So we're coming across here, again, north part of the house. Oh. See all this water hose here? The sprinkler hose? It's allowed to be above grade. It looks like a lot of unnecessary hose. I don't even know if it's hooked up. We'll find out when we run the sprinkler system. Never mind. Okay, it's just trash. Okay, but this wood mulch underneath the drip edges of the house, this close to the house, that's conducive to wood destroying insects. You're not going to find any. You're not going to have a problem with them for years. And everybody likes that. I get that. But if I was doing a WDI report, I would have to call it conducive. Now over here, this is the west side of the house. This is the gas meter. Okay, the gas enters the house here. That's your main shutoff to the house, right there. Then this, by all outward appearances, this gas system has been bonded. These are called control joints. Some people call them expansion joints. Call it what you will, but this home has them, and that's a good thing. Also, these are called weeps. Kind of like the windows, all right? Okay, these are called weep screeds. Excuse me, not weep screeds, but anyway, they're weep holes. You have these, and you have them over the windows, all right? And the reason you have these is because homeownership 101, all roofs leak, all walls leak. We design them so they shed water faster than they accept it, okay? And so that's their purpose, and that's why they're there. So coming on along, not seeing much in the way of movement. We've got continuous soffit vents. Those little perforated holes, those are continuous soffit vents. And the reason why we have continuous soffit vents, it gets a lot more ventilation into the attic. But we're going to expect some structural changes in the attic to accommodate this particular type of system. It's too soon to talk about that. Move you up here. Whee! Get to use all my editing effects here. Where are you in the zoom? That little guy right there. Right there. Okay, that's the emergency drain. That's a secondary drain line for your cooling system. That's there by design. If water's leaking out of that, that means that you got a problem, okay, with the primary. That's why you have the secondary. So that's why they place those, and you have one on the other side. But that's why they place those on above windows. So when you look out the window and you see that problem, then you know that that needs to be, you got an air conditioning problem that needs to be fixed. If it were me, okay, that little knot right up there over the window, I would fix that. That looks like moisture intrusion waiting to happen. Intrusion, filtration. That little guy, he's over the breakfast area. Okay, south wall, west wall, south end of the west wall, that window right there. It should be sealed up. Going on down here. They're not going to let me on the patio because they just got finished doing the flat work. The gentleman helped me on and off my ladder when I got up there on the roof covering. Okay? But this is the flat work. It looks pretty well. We're assuming that receptacle, because I cannot get on the flat work for 24 hours, we're assuming that receptacle outlet works consistently with the others. This is an exterior gas port for an outdoor patio grill. That's your back faucet right there. Vinyl windows, double pane. Okay, moving on along. More perforated. It's nice that your gates have springs on them. I appreciate that. This is your water heater, or at least one of them I found so far. It's a tankless water heater. I'm going to drop you for a minute. Don't get dizzy. Alright. I have clients. I've had clients, 2 clients in the past, 2 winters ago, big freeze, and the water to their kitchen island froze. And nowhere else. Nowhere else. Not even the master bathroom, which is on the same wall. I don't know if it was because the tankless water heater was on an exterior wall or not. It was a mystery that was never solved. But let's talk about what we do know, alright? When you see this tape on this gas valve right here, that valve has never been disturbed, okay? They're supposed to change the valve or adjust the valve so that it meets the exact pressure coming into the house so that it can operate effectively. And when that tape is left on there, that means that this installation is incomplete. That's what it means. So, and then, this is you don't have pressure relief valves, but you got temperature relief valves. Pressure relief valves, excuse me. But this is the pressure relief valve for the water heater, tankless water heater, and when that drain terminates towards the ground like it is, there's supposed to be a minimum of 3 inches and a maximum of 6 inches difference between that. So I'm thinking that we've got 3 inches right there. Earlier I was thinking differently, but that's why I kind of talked myself through this a couple times. Rain gutters below grade. Okay, this is a fresh air induction vent right here. We're on the east side of the house. Okay, because this is a tight house, so that brings fresh exterior air in to a heat exchanger to be conditioned and redistributed through the house. So that way you don't get stale house syndrome or sick house syndrome. In some parts of the country, screens are not allowed on those because of rain-driven rain. This part of the country, screens are required on these because of birds. So, pick your poison. Over here, this is the weather sensor for your lawn sprinkler system. You get up there, bear with me. Alright, so if it's freezing or raining, you don't waste water or freeze up the sidewalks and streets and stuff. That guy's supposed to stick straight out. He's not adjusted properly. He needs to be readjusted so that he operates properly for you. Okay, we always get a mystery here, and we're about to, hang on. These are electric disconnects for the air conditioning systems. This was probably for a temporary pole. Okay, that's probably going to go. So, and I've already looked inside of here. I got pictures of them, but these are the main disconnects for the service. 14 SEER. Okay, that's what they're advertising. Now, if you read the fine print, that's for an average unit. The SEER may depend on what the size of the evaporators were. Over here, we have the serial number, which tells us it's 1 year old. We expected that. Tells us that it's 59 divided by 12. It's going to tell us how big the condensing unit is. I think this 06 on the model number, I think that might mean that it's 16 SEER. Even though this says 14 SEER. I'm not sure. So until I'm sure it's 14 SEER. But what I'm telling you is I reserve the right to be wrong here. Okay? But let's come over here and look at this unit. The notice is gone. No serial number, no model number, no data, no information. Somebody peeled that off. There's a little bit of controversy about these. Okay, a little bit of controversy about these refrigerant coverings. By code, you're not supposed to have a soft foam covering. It's supposed to be a rigid foam covering. I've seen a few rigid foam coverings, but this is a newer version of the soft foam covering, and it's questionable whether that meets the intent of the code. I just gotta say. Now, there's been water escaping from this. I know I'm jumping around, but the report will have a little more water. All right, it's obvious that water has been spraying out around that sprinkler head. And another thing about sprinkler heads is they're not supposed to be closer to the wall. They're not supposed to be closer than 12 inches. So the sprinkler heads are too close to the wall. They can put undue amounts of moisture in the wall because all walls leak. All right, so coming over here, this is the front faucet. It's on the east side of the garage. And we got 60 PSI. Alright, 60 PSI. You're supposed to have between 40 and 80, and 60 is totally acceptable. Okay. Let's go inside.